Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US indices for Wednesday, October the 26th, starting with the S&P here. Our main pathway is from wave 1 here, moving up as an ABC pattern here into the box or to the 4,000 as wave 2, and then a turn down at this point. The banks, the US banks, we can look at them a little bit differently with putting wave B over here on top of this C here and looking at this as an A and a B wave down here and a C wave up here, but we don't need to go there just yet. So we were looking really at the earnings season being the turn in the market, and that seems to be sort of playing out. We've seen a bit of weakness from a few of the players today. So yeah, but look, in terms of just normal market sort of behavior and supply and demand and so on, is that this move down through here, it's all about this 4,000 here. So we've come down, we've bounced off it, we've come through, and now we retest it. And this is where the final battle will play out. It will either come down at this point or find support here and go up. So we just need to be a little bit open, but the primary count is to the downside, so we'll stay with that. But happy to turn, happy to be right or wrong and turn, and if we get a tested support with the classic trading levels pattern on the 4,000, we'll definitely be going long at that point. So not getting fixed on anything whatsoever. This particular move to the upside here, it can be counted in different ways. You could look at it as an ABC or WXY. It has stretched out quite nicely, so I'm going to stay with the ABC. We can have a look at the WXY on the NASDAQ where we drew it out yesterday. Okay, so let's go to the intraday and check on this. We normally start on 50k just to get our bearings. I haven't had time to adjust things, so we were looking for that wave 3 here. There's a good possibility that can be in, so we'd look for wave 4 and then for wave 5 to the upside. So that's what we can be doing at this point. So the other thing here too, really, if you know the trading levels a little bit, this 800, so from 500 then to 800, 1 2 3 5 8, the Fibonacci numbers, is playing out as a price ratio. But apart from that, you see that we've got the move up here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. Well, then we'll get the ABC pattern here, wouldn't we? And then move up. So that would be the normal flow of that price action. But let's continue to move in on 10k and 5k and so on. Let's just check on things. Okay, well, that seems to be all right at that point. So if we assume for a moment, I mean, this is a bit of a dog leg, this move here, and this is not fantastic, and I could see how you could change that, but the reason I've gone with this sort of count is that that's what really some of the big stocks are doing, and we should actually just kind of compare that move in a way. But just in the meantime here, it does appear that we do have an impulse wave. I did notice that off the thing here. So in one way or another, we'll definitely have at least 3 waves down. Now it could just bounce off the 8 here and move up, because this particular pattern here, I could look at it as 1 2 3 4 5 here, but obviously a lot of Elliott people say, well, Pete, you're overlapping that structure there again, and you would be right about that. But when you look at, let's just have a look at some of these stocks that have just earning. Now, this is Apple here. So when we're looking at Apple, we're looking at the same thing. We're looking from wave 2 here, counting up as 1 2 3 4 and 1 2 3 4, and then today we're talking about all this to the top there, and that because it had its announcement. So I was a bit behind the 8 ball, but 1 2 3 4 5. So yeah, so we can plonk that there. So that would be. This doesn't really show the all the aftermarket stuff, so it's probably down further. But it's the end of the session. So yeah, look. In a nutshell here, this, I can remove that. This, I haven't checked on this, but this would be, I can see it on the S&P, that would be definitely looking at something like this here. So it may not pull all the way down to the 38.2% retracement level, but I'm not concerned about that at the moment. What I wanted to show you though is that we've had a beautiful move to the upside here. right? This move here, and also too the other one that did its reporting as well was this market here. So we're also calling the high in here, and then this dropped afterwards. So that was kind of nice to be right, but you need to be big enough and ugly enough to handle being wrong. So it's at the 38.2% retracement level here at the moment, but I know that it's come down to 243 in the after markety thing. So let me just double check MSFT. Let me just check on that. It's at 245 now, but it went down to about 243 or 240 or something. I'd have to just double check that. But anyway, what the main point about showing these stocks here was that this will be some sort of ABC pattern here, and I'll need to reorganize that. So we've had the arrival at this particular point here, and the point was we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up here. We counted that up yesterday and today. Called the top in there. They did the announcement, has dropped. This drop here, I'm thinking we'll see some rally and then down again here. There's a bit of a trend line here. Wave 4 typically breaks the trend line, so if it does that, then you know it's a wave 4, and then we'll have that. We'll still need one more move up here. Now I could count this up here a bit differently. I could count this whole move is a little bit tricky in a way. We could look at it as an A wave here, a B wave. I've got that B wave here, and look at this as a C wave here, that 5-wave structure, and be finished here. So we need to gather evidence for all of that as well. So if I saw this come down too far down here, in the instance of 1 already here, back for 2 as the B wave or wave 2, and 3 here, and 4 here, and then 5 here, if we saw an impulse wave, then we wouldn't panic, we'd just chill, and then we would look for the ABC. This would be the same for the other, for the indices as well. I mean, these stocks create the indices, so it's good to look at them even if you don't trade them, you know, and then we would look to short over here for that. Okay, so we can just allow that to come down, and that will give us the direction, because if we get 5 waves here, that means after correction we'll get another 5. Otherwise we'll be looking to move one more move up. So I can see how you can count it. I can see how you can count this differently. I mean, it's really but ugly, all of this in here, you know. It can be viewed in different ways. I understand that. I mean, really, for this wave 1 here and 2 here, it's such a big wave 2 compared to wave 1 here. You know, and even the wave 1 is dodgy as hell. You know, you could technically better off putting it like this, but it still doesn't give you a very good C wave here as well. So there's lots of problems with all of this, but we don't have a clean 5 waves down just yet. I expected we'll get the rally back up into the earnings, and then the earnings would be a bit sad, and that would be enough to you know, to turn the market lower. So, but I'm showing you this here because with the Apple here, because we're looking at this impulse wave here, how sort of you know, it had good shape, good form, you know, where the S&P here is all kind of stumpy and all sort of, you know. But still, I still need to focus on this wave 3 here. That's the thing. And once again, we could look at this as a WXY up here. I don't think so. You're kind of forcing it a bit. Oh, you could go an A and a B and a C wave here, I guess. But we could look at this as an A and a B and a C wave over here as well for this. But I wanted to see a better retest of that larger number here, of that 4,000 up into the 50-60%. So we're still short here, you know. But I can see that we could have that here. So we just need to be, you know, just to be mindful of these things. We can't short yet. You could short now and put the stop above that. That's fine. Yeah, this here as 1 and 2 and 3. I mean, I wouldn't normally label it like that. I'd go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and this would be the third wave. So I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for that top, and then look at this one as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave for this top over here. But that's not what I'm getting from the stock market, you know, from the stocks. The stocks are telling me, well, Pete, that's it, you know, and I'm saying, but yeah, it breaks rules and it's ugly and doesn't sort of have the right look and feel about it, you know. Well, Pete, we don't really care about your feelings. This is what it is. So anyway, let's cruise into further with this, just shooting the breeze a little bit. So the main thing, if we were going to short, we really want to make sure that we've got a turn in the market, and that you know, we've got a nice impulse wave to the downside. This is just giving this here a little bit more. You can start to see this a little bit clearly here. I mean, at big numbers, like, I mean, 8 to me is the third strongest number in the market. 1, 5, and then 8. So, and you know, I talk about 8 a lot. So big numbers skew, they pull the orders, you know. The psychology is people place orders at certain, you know, whole numbers or anything with zeros on it, or whole numbers or even numbers, and then, you know, people think of 10 more than 9, so to speak, or 11, you know, that type of thing. So it pulls mark, especially when got zeros on there, they pull it there, so it can skew the wave count on an intraday basis. So we need to be a little bit mindful of things. But let's just continue to cruise in on the 1000 tick here. So yeah, this is it here. You know, so we could put wave 1 here, probably to the side there actually, but 1 and 2 here, putting wave 3 here, putting wave 3 here and 4 here, and then wave 5 to the upside here is, you know, it's got its issues with it, you know, because normally I'd look at this as 1 and 2 here, and then look at this as 1 and 2 here, and we might need to do that, but it's just not what stocks are telling me, you know, and I need to do what I'm told. The market's the boss. So I do see this as 5 waves down here. If I could just bring up my little 10 tick chart here, we can see that we've got sort of, well, we can see that strong third wave here, right? So and then we've got this leg, so we've got somehow we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we're going to have an A and a B and a C, and then we're going to go down again. Is this going to be the A wave and a B wave and a C wave down, or is this going to be wave 1 and 2 and 3 down here, and 4 and 5 into a bigger move down? That's what we've got to kind of figure out. I think that could be the case. So here we could be looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and then 3. But the truth of the matter is that's all I can say that's going to happen, because we've got 5 here. After a correction, we'll get another 5. That's all I can say as a truth in the market, as an Elliott truth. But if we're going to go into wave 4, we'll probably end up with 5 waves down here, and then an ABC pattern here, rallying back off a bounce off the 800 here, and then another 5 waves down here, down into, this is I think it was about the 38.2%, something like that, and then up from there. So you'll be able to use a classic trading levels pattern sitting in here to get that number from the 8 to the back to the upside there. So a bit of work to be done. And as I mentioned, Wednesday and Thursday in the Bullish Weekly cycle tend to be the swing days. So Friday, Monday and Tuesday you can get away with things, but then Wednesday and Thursdays are the ones that take your stops out. So if you can tie that into your analysis, that can be a little bit sort of helpful. We'll go to the 100 ticks, but it'll be pretty messy in there, I'd imagine, but we're going to go in anyway. We're going to brave it out. Let's just go 50. Let's go back out here a little bit. I'm just going to do a bit of housework while I'm here, because I've got too many objects on chart, so don't need those. Don't even need these now. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need any of these stuff in here. We've done all of that work. We've accounted for all of that. I can put that back later. And that's what we're left with. Nice and clean. Yeah, I mean, as a wave 2 here, I really don't like it, you know. Just doesn't, I mean, I'm far better off putting this here and here. So we do need to be careful about a top here. We need to just keep working that. But that's how I've counted this here. We've just been over that anyway, so I'm just counting that up there, and we can see our little 5 waves down here. So for the intraday traders, we can look at, I mean, if you've got E-minis, they're going to be a slightly different price and everything, but we should, same sort of principle, we should see that come back up and test the 38.50 and then down again at that point. So we'll see this as the A wave, the B wave, the C wave, and then down at that point. So if you're looking for a short trade, that's it. So just be a bit mindful in here. That looks impulsive here, you know what I mean? So an A wave, an ABC back here somewhere, and then up again for that. May or may not reach that. The 38, like the 5 is important. That's where that's been hit. And the next number up is 8. After 5 is 8. So 38, 48. In that space. Alrighty, let's check out the NASDAQ. In the NASDAQ, we were looking at this yesterday, looking at alternative count because of, especially the Russell doesn't look good. But so we've got it as the A wave, the B wave 1 and 2, going up for 3 and ABC for 4, like we just talked about. Or we could look it up as a W and a W X, there's no X there, but and then a Y at this point here and having a top in place. So we'll need to be a little bit careful. We'll gather some information, but accounting for everything here, once again, we've got a nice impulse wave down. We're going to bounce off this medium level here and then down again into this space. And if it climbs back up here and gets support here with a little classic trading levels pattern, the story, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above, you have to wait for all of that and then go long on any of these highs over here. So that would be the NASDAQ at that point. So, I mean, it could just come straight down from that, but we'll be all over. And like I said, if we get a larger 5 ways down, we're just going to get the pullback in this area here, right? So that's where we'll look to do the short trade setups. Tomorrow we'll look at all of that. We'll see where everything sits at this point. Okay, moving along a little bit. The Russell, I mean, it's very difficult to call this an A. I mean, call it this. I can't put this A wave here. I could put this A wave up here and have this as a B wave or a W and an X here. So yeah, I'm just going to look at this as the same thing as again here. I can see the takeaway is you can count this any way you want, basically, but. It would have been really nice if this low had taken out this low here. That would have been fantastic, because then what would have happened is it would have called this an ABC pattern here, but not only that, it would have been corrective. This would be a corrective pattern, and then that would have confirmed that the move up here, the whole move up, is actually a corrective pattern, because we can't prove that yet, We don't have that evidence that this is a bear market rally. It could be a bull market. We just don't know it yet, So, yeah. Anyway, steady as she goes. We're still looking for higher ground here. So I'm looking at this being a wave 3. And we'll still need a wave 4 here, and then a wave 5 to the upside. So in this case here, we've got a really beautiful 1, 2, 3 here, haven't we? I don't see the 4. I don't see the 4 and the 5 yet for this. So this is lagging a little bit, and yeah, I'll just chill on that. Everything seems to be okay as an A and a B and a C here for for wave 1 and 2, and then looking for 3, 4 and 5. I could have it as a W and an X and a Y up here. If it was going to be a Y up here, this wave 3 here would be that wave C of Y of B at that point, and then break, and then that would be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. And we don't have, this is not finished yet, this is the thing. So even as a WXY, it's not finished. Right, so we're not finished to the upside. The splash page I put on the video, I've got it as a, bullish, but I should get another, ask Marcia to do another little template for bear market rally or something or other. But yeah, it's just not finished. I know the banks are not finished here either. That was another thing. The Dow Jones, that's been moving up okay. This is slightly better here in terms of the A wave, the B wave 1 and 2, and going up for the 3rd, the 4th and the 5th wave here. This is the length of wave 1 here, so we can just grab that and put that on the bottom of wave 2 here, and that will give us 1618, where our 3rd wave can be. So take that with a pinch of salt, but gravitate over the closest largest number. So we're looking for this to pull back here now as well. So I have moved the stop up in terms of this low to this, we'll have to call that in at that point. I think the 38.2% retracement level is here, and the wave 4 of 2 lesser degrees. So I'll put that in there. So that's where that can jump back to. And yeah, so down to here and then up to here to finish off, and then down at that point. That's what we're thinking. So yeah, so once again, look, not the best 5-wave structure to the upside here, but I have dragged it into, you know, the Apples and the Microsofts of the world, the ones that have got a reasonable form that we can count and justify and so on, you know, have a bit of confidence in. Once again, the only thing I don't like about this whole count is this wave 2 here. It just doesn't ring true. So this could be a top in the markets here, because, you know, you have to be careful about that as an A wave here, a B wave here. But I just see that some markets just haven't finished off, and they need to finish off there. So we'll just stay with it, but I don't like it. We'll just keep working. The main point is, like I said, we don't have an impulse wave to the downside that we can say we've got a top in place. So we need to continue our journey to the upside, even though it's you know, we're getting headwinds from those big stock earnings being a bit weak at that point. Alrighty, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.